So this is one of the areas where I'm talking about. I can easily see this being a nearby future for human beings pretty easily. As we, as AI takes over more jobs and positions, and we talk more about this in different ways, in different formats. But we're not very far off from AI, robotics, machine learning, material sciences, all these massive advancements that we're having. 80% of us won't have to have what we used to call a job anymore. It won't be that 80% of us are unemployed. It will just be that, because we're going to have to go through, most likely, a kind of existential change. Just like when we went from the bulk of us, everybody was a peasant, serf farmer, or subsistence farmer in some sort, right? We were all farmers to then post-industrial revolution. Now we are all city and suburban livers.
Right.
And,
right.
A big existential change like that is coming because of this new tech that is unfurling before our very eyes and drawing a lot of wonder out of us on a daily basis, right?
Sure.
But so this is definitely it's still in a unique hotel bit, but I can see this as being a type of future that a lot of people will choose in what David Shapiro calls the economy of meaning. Like, as we move forward into that realm, I can see some places like this being very common. All around the tropical places, all around forest areas, types of communities like this. So not just as a hotel, but just seeing how, like, this is all bamboo. And you just build all these varied structures kind of into the ecosystem of wherever you're at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of us, we love to be in trees. We love to be in the forest, in the jungles. Again, remember, in the very core of us, deep down, before, when we were an animal, right? We were an arboreal creature. We were predominantly designed to live in trees, in a treed environment. We are a primate, right? So I can easily see this type of thing. You'll see more and more hotels like this. People start staying there more often, and fuck it, instead of leaving this, I'm just going to stay. I just want to live in this hotel. Can I stay in this hotel? And that's going to be, we'll transfer it into a co-op of some sort, or we'll turn it into, right? I can just see a lot more of that, because then we'll start getting those DAOs, right? Those DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, whatever. I could see this being the type of communities that really develop fast and a lot. Because he'll break it down. I can't remember what it said exactly when but I think it's all predominantly bamboo. Now, I'm sure it's actually structural. I'm sure they have structural materials in there. Although I don't know. Bamboo actually is quite a structural material, to be honest. Yeah. But look at all these different features and structures, different types of water features, different shapes of rooms, different climates and moods can be set by the room. Architecture, humans are able to use architecture to command and evoke so many feelings and so many behaviors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Casino building, right, is a science. Casino building is a mastered science of how they guide and move people through them, right? So communities could be built in the same ways that give humans these different comforts and connections with the environment that they want. I could easily see those types of communities, right? Because people, how happy did those people look? The opportunity to be shirtless in the jungle and just, right? I don't have to be afraid of any fucking tigers anymore, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right? We fucking beat the tiger, Sorry, that was probably going to come off way too loud. Apologize about that, folks. But yeah, I often joke about how, there was so long of a period that this creature would have existed where the fucking tiger, man, fucking jaguar, right? Fucking puma, right? Big cats all across this fucking planet, right? They're in a corner of this fucking planet that didn't breed a big cat that's perfectly designed to kill humans, right? Perfectly fucking designed, right? Cunning, wit, fat, phenomenally faster reflexes than us, right? Nocturnal, hunt at night. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why did every goddamn corner of this planet breed a large feline, perfectly fucking catered or perfectly designed, right? Multiple kinds, right? Oh, so now think you're gonna have we pop up communities like that all over, right? Because this is what I'm talking about when I say things like we want our time. We want to be on the jungle floor. We want to have time we want to just be comfortable, have our little orgies, have our little parties, have our little barbecues, right? Without the threat of a fucking cobra or a tiger or a rhino or crocodile, right? Like, I think we're getting to this point where we have evolved and we mastered domain. We did so in harsh ways, too harsh, pretty easily arguable that we did pretty harshly. But we've gotten to the point now where we're becoming more respectful of that and cognizant of this idea that we can take better stewardship and we can live in a more cooperative way with our environments, right? So I think we're starting to be able to recognize the reality that our species as a whole is about to get its time to relax on the jungle floor.
Yeah.
Right. Pick your ecosystem, right? You one of those people who likes to live in the snow, in the tundras, in the Arctic, right? All those Alaskans, all those Northern Russians, all those Northern Europeans, right? There are people who like to live in the cold and snow. There are people who like to live equatorially, right?
Right.
There are people who like to live in deserts and arid lands, on and on and on, right? We're going to get to make more and more of these kind of specialized communities that people can, you know, pick their ticket, for lack of a better term,
Right.
you know, like what gives you happiness, you know?
And if we're living in an economy of meaning where we have more control over us as individuals, we won't be as tied to where we were born. Like,
100%.
if you were born in the cold, a lot of times you have to stay in the cold,
You don't have
even
the
if
option.
you prefer
Right, yeah.
to be equatorial.
It just mentality wise, even think about it. I, as a person born and raised in small town, right? All I ever fucking talked about, dreamed about, wanted to do, I want to live in New York City. That's all I want. Right? Because you want to experience something different from what you grew up in. That's a very common human thing, right?
Yeah.
I think it's probably kind of somewhat of a little genetic slice of whatever it is that programs are such a common drive with wanderlust. You know, so many humans have that wanderlust,
Yeah.
right? It's part of that, right? You maybe if you're not one of those people who has a massive need to wander or travel necessarily, but you have a little bit. You're like, well, I grew up here, so maybe I'll live here in this different type of experience or environment for a little while,
Yeah.
just to at least feel it, right? I think it's at least a little part of that.